First comes self-respect, then boundaries. A crucial life lesson 2025. In a world that constantly demands your attention, energy, and validation, the journey to fulfillment begins with one powerful truth. First comes self-respect. Then come boundaries. These two forces are not just complementary, they are interdependent. And in 2025, mastering this life lesson is not optional. It's essential. Self-respect is the foundation. Boundaries are the structure. Together, they form the architecture of a meaningful, purposeful life. What is self-respect? Self-respect is the deep, unwavering belief that you are worthy of dignity, kindness, and authenticity, no matter who is watching. It's not arrogance. It's not self-centeredness. It's a quiet, internal sense of value that doesn't need to shout. People with self-respect speak truthfully even when it's uncomfortable. Walk away from what dishonors their values. Say no without guilt. Don't betray themselves to be liked. Without self-respect, boundaries feel like walls. With it, boundaries become invitations to healthier relationships and a stronger identity. Why self-respect must come first. Trying to enforce boundaries without self-respect is like building a house on sand. You might say no, but you'll apologize for it. You might leave a toxic situation, but question if you were too sensitive. You might express your needs, but fear being rejected. When you have self-respect, you don't over-explain your decisions. You don't seek permission to honor your truth. You don't confuse people-pleasing with kindness. You realize that peace within is more valuable than approval from others. The cost of neglecting self-respect. Many struggle not because life is too hard, but because they've allowed themselves to be mistreated, undervalued, or silenced. Neglecting self-respect can show up as tolerating disrespect in relationships, overcommitting out of fear of being disliked, ignoring your own emotional needs, chasing validation at the cost of your truth. Over time, this leads to resentment, burnout, and a loss of self-identity. How to cultivate self-respect. 1. Know your core values. What matters most to you? Honesty, loyalty, freedom, integrity. Define your values. Then, live by them. 2. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Confidence isn't built by what others think of you, but by how often you follow through for yourself. 3. Practice self-compassion. You're human. You'll mess up. Speak to yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend. 4. Honor your feelings. Your emotions are data, not weaknesses. Listen to them. They're trying to tell you what needs attention. 5. Set and enforce boundaries, not out of fear, not to control others, but because you've decided your well-being matters. Understanding boundaries? Boundaries are the natural extension of self-respect. They are not about control. They are about clarity. Types of boundaries: physical. I'm not comfortable with that level of contact. Emotional. I need space to process before we talk. Time. I'm not available after 8 p.m. Digital. I don't respond to work messages on weekends. Conversational. I'm not open to discussing that topic. Boundaries aren't restrictions. They're revelations. They show people who you are and how you expect to be treated. How to set boundaries that stick. 1. Be clear, not cruel. You don't have to be harsh to be firm. Speak calmly, but directly. 2. Don't argue, explain, or justify. You're not asking for permission. You're stating the truth. 3. Expect resistance. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries may push back. Stay grounded. 4. Follow through. A boundary is only as strong as its enforcement. If you don't honor it, no one else will. 5. Revisit and revise. As you grow, your boundaries may evolve. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Real stories. Alina, a teacher, spent years saying yes to every request: extra duties, weekend events, late-night emails. She burned out. In 2025, she chose self-respect. She created office hours, declined unnecessary commitments, and felt more energized than ever. Her students noticed the difference. James stayed in a draining friendship out of loyalty. But he realized loyalty without reciprocity is self-abandonment. He set boundaries, took space, and rediscovered his joy. Maya grew up believing silence was strength. But her silence became self-betrayal. One boundary at a time, she learned to use her voice. Not to shout, but to stand. Your turn. What's one way you've compromised your self-respect in the past? What's one boundary you need to establish this year? Remember, you are not selfish for saying no. You are not rude for needing rest. You are not dramatic for having standards. You are simply learning to treat yourself with the same dignity you've given everyone else. In relationships, boundaries improve connection. Why? They prevent resentment. They encourage mutual respect. They invite authentic communication. If someone cannot honor your boundaries, they are not rejecting you, they're revealing their limitations. Let them. In work, self-respect at work looks like asking for what you're worth, saying no to a toxic culture, advocating for balance and wellness. You are not your job title. You are a human being with needs, dreams, and limits. Respecting those makes you better, not weaker. In self-care, self-respect is the engine behind authentic self-care, not spa days or bubble baths, but going to therapy, ending unhealthy habits, pursuing growth over comfort. It's not about indulgence. It's about alignment. Final thoughts. In 2025, more people are burned out, overextended, and undernourished because they've forgotten their worth. Reclaim it. Build a life that feels safe, sacred, and strong. Let self-respect be your compass. Let boundaries be your map. Meaning, this chapter is a call to action. Stop outsourcing your worth. Stop shrinking to fit. Your life is too precious to be lived on someone else's terms. First comes self-respect. Then boundaries. And with both comes freedom. Reclaiming your time. Why saying no creates space for your yes. In a world where every hour is crowded with notifications, obligations, and distractions, the ability to say no has become a radical act of self-preservation. Yet most people struggle to decline requests, invitations, or expectations, not because they don't want to, but because they haven't fully claimed the power of their time. In 2025, one of the most transformative decisions you can make is this. Stop giving away your time like it's infinite. Start protecting it like it's sacred. Because it is. Every yes you offer consumes your most precious currency, your attention, energy, and presence. And every time you say yes to something misaligned, you're saying no to something that could have moved your life forward. The myth of being nice. Too often, people say yes because they want to be seen as helpful, supportive, or agreeable. But there's a difference between being kind and being compliant at the expense of your peace. People who cannot say no often overcommit and burn out. Resent those they said yes to. Lose clarity on what really matters. The truth. Saying no isn't rude, it's responsible. It protects your yes for the things that matter most. Time is a mirror of your priorities. Look at your calendar. It will tell you what you actually value. If you say health matters, but you don't schedule workouts, your time tells another story. If you say family matters, but you always prioritize work, your time reveals the truth. You don't find time, you make it. And you make it by saying no to what dilutes your direction. The psychology of no. Many people avoid saying no because they fear disappointing others. They worry about being judged. They confuse being busy with being valuable. But when you examine this, it becomes clear. A life ruled by yes to everyone else often leaves you absent from your own dreams. Saying no builds trust with yourself, establishes your values, protects your creativity, rest, and peace. Practical ways to say no with confidence. 1. Start with self-awareness. Before you answer, pause and ask, does this align with my priorities right now? 2. Use clear, firm language. No need for excuses or over-explaining. Try, oh, I'm not available for that. Oh, that doesn't align with my goals right now. Oh, I appreciate the offer, but I'll have to decline. 3. Offer alternatives if you choose. Oh, I can't attend, but I'd love to connect next week. Oh, I can't help with that project, but here's a resource that might help. 4. Trust that real relationships can handle boundaries. The right people won't punish you for honoring yourself. The ROI of saying no. When you start guarding your time, you'll notice more mental clarity, more focus on your real goals, more rest, creativity, and joy. Because every no creates space for the yes that actually grows you. Real stories. Sophia used to say yes to every committee at work. She thought it proved her dedication. But she lost time with her kids, her health suffered, and she felt resentful. In 2025, she learned to decline with grace and her energy and effectiveness skyrocketed. Derek felt guilty turning down friends who always wanted to hang out. But he had a novel to write. Saying no gave him evenings back. That novel is now published. Your turn? Ask yourself. What am I currently saying yes to out of guilt, not growth? What could I create, experience, or enjoy if I reclaimed just 1 hour a day? You can't do everything. But you can do what matters if you stop doing what doesn't. Your time deserves respect. You wouldn't leave your front door open to anyone, anytime. Why leave your calendar wide open to anything? Design your days around your purpose, not other people's pressures. Let your no be a gift to your future self, who will have more peace. To your relationships, which will deepen through authenticity. To your dreams, which will finally have room to breathe. Meaning, this chapter is your reminder that you are the architect of your time. You cannot build a meaningful life if your schedule is filled with everyone else's blueprints. Say no boldly, so you can say yes to a life that is truly yours.